So, business process analyze, new horizons for development based on possibilities. Actually, who was thinking of this topic needs to be killed. It was me. Just maybe a small warm-up that I can also understand to whom I'm talking to you today. Who is manager, owner of a company? Who is employee? Okay. Big company? Small company? So, quite good mixture. I actually would like to use the time to go by thesis and by some examples that maybe can bring you the topic of business analytics more closer. Maybe it also gives you a possibility to look at it from a different angle. Jan Keil, I guess you much quicker read what is written there, so let me give you some other insights. I was coming to Ukraine in the year 2000 for the first time, so almost 16 years now. And I'm still here because of actually the positive business experience which I had. That's only one reason. I came here, let's say, 16 years ago because, in Ukraine you have very good characteristics. In Germany we also have good characteristics, and I identified here my opportunity actually to bring German characteristics to Ukraine. At the moment I'm contracted at, if I would be hired by law, then I would be the head of marketing for the company Infopulse, commercial add-on. Infopulse is one of the largest Ukrainian IT outsourcing companies, which is providing ICT and business process outsourcing services and solution. Commercial off. I said one reason was the good experience I have in Ukraine. The other one is I'm married to an Ukrainian wonderful woman. She gave birth to our son. He's 2 years now, and soon, very soon, actually every day it can happen, she gives birth to our next child, to our daughter Elizabeth. Yeah, coming to the topic, why it is important. No, not coming to the topic. I have a very nice, actually, slogan. We are settled very good in Kiev, we feel good, and for the moment, going back to Europe or going back to Germany is not an option at all. Slava Ukraina. So, why it is important, no, back please. Why it is important to have established processes in a company. 3 words, have a look to the picture. To be relaxed. Okay, it have been 7 words. But actually, when I'm talking about being relaxed, I mean the opposite of being stressed. I don't mean being lazy, laying down day by day on the couch. Being relaxed actually gives you the real possibility to open your eyes and open your mind. And only through that you are able to discover new horizons for yourself. Established processes. Very important actually here is to understand that you should not over-process something. It also truly can kill a business. Actually, you do good if you have a proper balance between your possibilities and the economics, the financial side. And that will bring you further. Also, with some different words, we can say that processes should rule the most important things in your company. They should bring Ordnung, order, порядок. And the rest goes more or less by itself. You can trust me. In German, we have actually a saying, quadratisch praktisch gut. And only if something is quadratisch praktisch gut, then it is good, then it is right. And the next thing is actually something which is quadratisch praktisch gut. These are the standards. Standards help you to actually analyze, develop your different processes. And why you should do this, there is another very easy example, because you want to succeed in business. And this you want to do by best practices and for this most low possible price. And standards actually are just some theoretical instrument. And here's where we are using them. The 3 Ps. Very important. There are different P's called in the society or in the science. I would like to explain you some things about people, processes, and products. We can apply those standards to the different P's, and actually the real magic in the end is to get it running and keep it running. I would like to go a little bit into detail because the 3 P's is quite important to understand, and the most important, even we are today speaking about processes, most important are the people. And the people actually, they make the difference. Yeah? So if you have people, the right people, yeah, then you probably are effective. If you have the wrong people, then yeah, probably you are faced with destructivity. And that brings me also to a way of different explanation. Actually, you can have the best idea, you can have the best products, you can have the best materials, you can have the best processes. In the end, if you don't have the right people, which do think and act the way it should be, it is thought of and it makes sense, then you are lost, so better get rid of them. Maybe first you train them and then get rid. And let me close this section about people with the quote from Mr. Steve Jobs, God bless him. He said, actually, I'm paying big money not to tell my employers what they should do. I'm paying big money to my people that they tell me what I should do or what we should do. And this brings me to the next part, which is processes. And processes is the second most important P, which actually, how to say, success on a long scale is all about processes. So if you want to be successful, you need to have your processes, you need to have them analyzed, you need to have them aligned, and you need to have them running. There are a lot of processes, whether you have to care about because you're a manager or you're an employer or not. There are processes of sales, there are processes for delivering, there are processes of creation. Any else, the most important, I already said, is you need to understand the process, you need to simplify them, standardize them. The Germans are very good in standardizing things, and make sure that all runs. Also in this section I would finish with a small history about a very famous person, Branson, I guess Sir Richard Branson, actually everyone knows of you. He has a lot of companies. One company he was founding was Virgin Airlines. And like Virgin Airlines also, they had a service desk. And actually they had very, very bad, what is it called, customer satisfaction. Yeah? People were stuck in the loop for several minutes, not knowing what was going on, when is coming the next operator answering me. What they did is what I suggest. They analyzed the processes. They identified the problems. They streamlined the processes. And actually they came up with a very clever, very innovative idea. They implemented a way that from now on, if a client is waiting in the loop for more than a minute, you will get a discount or even the next flight for free. So in the end, they aligned the processes. They are down to a minute for the first answering time. And moreover, they raised customer satisfaction by 200%. Yes, coming to the third P, product, last but not least. And I don't want to say much about it. All of you have different products to take care of, but actually you can categorize them into two, whether they are excellent or they are relevant. If they are no one of both, then you actually fight against windmills. And also here I would like to use a quote from Henry Ford, who said that the most important rule in your business is actually making the best product, that makes the best quality product to the lowest price possible, at the lowest cost possible, paying the highest wages. Why this is important? Because someone who's doing good work should be paid good. When he was remarking remaking, rethinking his automotive production. Actually, he was before also constructing one car by one car. He thought of a complete new approach. He came up with the module or component-based production lines which we see now everywhere. And what he did is he analyzed, he streamlined the process, he saved time, saved money, and delivers perfect products, even up to now, still not alive, even not alive. Yeah, please show me the next slide. Actually, some theoretics I gave you, standards, 3 Ps, a little examples. Let's come back to our reality. And situation actually, no matter, small company, big company, manager, or let's say executive down in the employer level, we are all facing such kind of problems, more or less. Whether time management is not correct and you are hunting from one to the next event, strategic decisions are not made because top management is not involved or don't understand the need of it. Execution work is ad hoc. Today someone comes in and says, tomorrow, or better yesterday, it should be finished. Big companies, it makes of course a difference. Smaller companies have smaller problems, bigger companies have bigger problems. The corporate feeling gets lost if you don't pay attention. There's too much work. If you are a small company, if you are the CEO of the small company, you do everything. You maybe make the wire transfer to pay for whatever invoice. You go to the post office and get the stamps. But actually, the bigger you are, the more those little tiny things are getting lost. And if you don't have the processes to steer this, then you have the feeling that you have too much work for the current workforce. Responsibilities are unclear if the processes are not aligned. And last but not least, a lot of nice tools that are around. I don't go into details. There are small tools, there are big tools like SAP, SAP. They are not used and they could actually make the life much easier. So, let's be honest. We are driven. What can we do? Maybe a small side break. 4 doors, 2 guys, let's say. Let's imagine 2 guys of you. We make a small game. Behind the door is a gift or a present. It will change. We take 50 iterations. We have 2 people. One is always choosing one door and is not changing it. And the second one is choosing a door, but he has the possibility to change before opening the door. What do you think? First one, who is never changing, once he's deciding, I take the first door, or the second one, who can change. I take the first, or I make a second choice. Second one, right. Why is it this way? What we do. Next slide, please. If we are driven, maybe we change it. We become the driver. And how we can do this? Being the driver is actually also not rocket science. I already said, we have standards, we have best practices, where we have proof that they are working. And one of those best practices is actually the life cycle model, which you can also adapt everywhere. You can adapt it in production, you can adapt it in software development, and you can also adapt it in marketing, sales, and in process analysis. Business process analysis is built on those 5 points. You first analyze and design, and the next step, you model and you develop. You go to the execution. You collect some data, you collect information, you see how it is going, you monitor, and in the end you are able to optimize, and the circle starts again for a second iteration. So little by little get better, step by step. RIM was also not constructed in a night shift. And actually I have a very good English proverb, which I want to to tell you. Good, better, best, never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. I was talking a little bit in the beginning about added value. I'm assuming you're coming to the conference to hear some tips, some tricks, and how to go on. Actually, I can't take of you the need to learn the theoretics because without theoretics, without the matter, you don't know what you have to do, what you have to take, what steps you have to follow. So first of all is, please, if you are more interested, if you need it, go to workshops, study those things by yourself, internet, or take some teachers. It's not bad, actually, to take people on your side who know more and who can guide you, who can mentor you. And actually, the big picture is a possibility which was given to me a long time ago. So these two next following small tips actually helped me in my lifetime, in my experience, and I was not inventing them myself. They were told to me, and I would like to tell them to you. So I was 21, studying, parallel already working, had to do some trainee job at Daimler-Benz at that time for receiving my final diploma. And I'm very, very thankful. I had a very good mentor, and he said, actually, Jan, you have three possibilities. Leave it, love it, or change it. And if you change it right. And he was very often using the big picture approach. So not think big, not this chaga. The big picture approach is a little bit different. First of all, of course, you have to take yourself some methodologies. There is the mind map methodology where the big problem is in the center, and then from the center you go into the substructures. Or there's another methodology, pyramid or top-down hierarchies. Actually, doesn't matter which one you like, you take. And you will be concentrated in the beginning only on creating a skeleton, which means that you're not taking any step, you don't change something. You first need to understand your process. You first need to understand your problem as a overall thing. You need to identify the neuralistic points, the most important points into it. And only if you have the understanding of what you have to do, only then you start filling meat, you start filling content, you start filling solutions into those structure. So one thing you can do, like we say in software development, by the waterfall principle, step by step by step. And then when you go into, let's say, development or production or changing, then you can even go the agile way, the more agile way, which means this is, let's say, the first release or the first delivery or the first phase of my change. And within this, the meat should be understood. The content, the question should be answered from A to Z. And then the other boundaries you can fulfill with the time, as Agile makes it possible. First one, and the second one is also a very nice tip. Maybe you can show it to us. Time is money. Isn't it a nice word? Or a nice sentence. And you all know this, and I got the help of another mentor of mine who gave me the hint to make two things. First thing is divide your problems, divide your task, divide your things you want to do into 3 A, B, C. A, those things you must do today. It means actually not today, you can choose whatever timeline you want, today, a week, a month, a year, doesn't matter. Categorize A, B, C. Most important, I have to do today, I must do today. B, I can do today or I can shift. C, whatever later. And the second one that should be applied here as well is, we go back. And the second one which we apply here as well is structure your time. I'm not giving you now a time management workshop, but actually you are not failing if you separate your time into 3 main slots. Actually you can have more slots a day, a week, a year, but 3 groupings. One grouping is reserve your time for meetings. You need to meet, you need to communicate. Communication is another very important element. But this is maybe another speech which I can give later, not today. Another third you should reserve for your ad hoc, for your daily business, things that needs to be decided today and can't wait. and 1/3 of your slot reserved for strategic decisions. Because, I mean, we know if we are like the hamster in the wheel, running round, only saluting ad hoc, never thinking about strategic decision, never thinking about the big thing and how to optimize them, how to streamline them. Yeah, then for sure you will not be in the business tomorrow. Yeah? You can't do the challenges of today with the processes of yesterday and believe that you are tomorrow still in business. So we have 10 minutes question. I would very much also use those question and answers, because the added value maybe only comes if you tell me a little bit what are your problems and maybe where can I see some help or some ideas for you. If you would like, I have another real case study out of my history. Maybe you show the next slide. And actually quite interesting. For me, it was a very interesting project. They took me as a risk manager because the project was close to cancel. It was a project several tens of millions worth. And company was one of the biggest media research companies in the world. They had a very interesting but old solution for media research, measuring some stuff. I can't go too much into details, NDAs, you maybe understand. And their task was actually to develop a new sophisticated, complex solution, which consisted out of a very complex 3-tier software solution with an own database engine which they have developed, with a bus system, China, to connect and to be able to implement services very quick without changing the whole system again. Several user interfaces with business intelligence, and even that time, it's already now 8 years ago, there was no SAP HANA, no in-memory real-time analyze. They already in that time were able to make real-time analyze. Their problem was they didn't know how to make processes, how to make software development. They were before developing local, they were developing in-house, and then someone made a decision, we have to save money, let's do outsourcing. They quickly bought companies, they quickly arranged teams, they found partners which helped them outsourcing, but they forgot about the processes. They forgot about that before we were working in-house. Hey Joe, opening the door, please do that and that. No documentation, bad documentation. No processes about divided software development. And even in the end, after it was already going, people got angry because they don't understood each other. People, the most important P, they even bashed each other, can you imagine? And in the end, they took me as a risk manager to align all that. Yeah, they had an office. Actually, there were 6 teams. There was one in the Netherlands, responsible for the connected hardware. There was in Germany an office, more or less the architecture, the owner, the head of. In Budapest, there have been 2 user interfaces offices. In Ukraine, there were 2 offices, or 3 teams even with the testing. So a really big project. In the end, what I said was they made everything wrong what you can make wrong. And yeah, I don't know. Lucky me, lucky not me. We were able to get we say in German, get the Kuh vom Eis kriegen. Maybe Anton, you can help me. What is the Kuh vom Eis kriegen? Say hello to Anton. Next to him is Vadim sitting. They are both working with me. Vadim is a journalist, story writer. Vadim is digital marketing manager in my department. And actually they helped me a lot to create this presentation for you. Kuh vom Eis means if some situation is wobbly, weak, and you don't know how to react, you have to get the situation resolved. And we did it actually. What we did is, like always, we analyzed the situation. We did it based on the 3P. We first analyzed the people. We understood that we had to clean the air because they are already not talking to each other. We analyzed software development. We implemented software lifecycle management into this project. We implemented tools for steering project management. We implemented tools for divided software development, that sources are available wherever they are needed. We actually did everything what was needed. And in the end, the project wasn't falling because processes were aligned, processes were optimized, budget was not kept, but in the end, they didn't lose the client, and they finished the product in time after the second agreement. Thank you very much for the moment. Actually, I have another case study, but that's not so interesting. Better maybe we go to the question and answer section. And I'm happy to listen to you. Yes, please.
Is it possible to domesticate some chaotic processes?
To what?
To domesticate or to use some chaotic processes for making profit. And
What kind of processes?
chaotic.
Chaotic?
Yes, chaotic.
To make money?
Yes. And second one, did you ever meet some problem named like regress to middle level?
Regress to middle level?
Yes.
I know what is regress to middle level, but I never met it.
No.
Let me answer to your first question. Actually, there are good examples where chaos is helping to make money, but to be honest, only if you know what you do in the beginning, if you streamline the things you have to do, and if you follow your plan, only then you will be successful. Most chaotic projects that I have seen, they got to a peak, and then after the evaluational procedure go on, the company was growing and they couldn't align the internal processes and things, they died very quickly. So chaos in the beginning is maybe helpful. It helps in startups, it helps in brainstorming, it helps in finding the ideas, but in the end you anyway need to follow A, B, C. You can't do the second step before the first one. Yes, something else.
Thank you for your speech. I have a question. Looking back to your experience, I assume that you was working on the international companies, right?
Yes.
How did you overcome some problems and difficulties in cultural differences? I mean, resistance in the top management of accepting some positive changes in business processes?
In Ukraine or in Germany?
International, no matter.
There is a big difference.
That's, yeah, it's a big difference. So, I mean, how did you overcome?
So in Germany, actually, and I don't want to say in Ukraine it's not possible this way. Where I'm working now, we at least have the situation that we can make good decisions together with the top management. Mr. Zigov and Mr. Anisimov are very open for this. But mostly in Ukraine, it's very hard to find that top management is really, if they are the owner and invested their own money, then there is no question. But if they are just managers set in the positions, then mostly I met very bad cases. In Europe, actually, this is just again a question of your standards. If you follow the standards, if you follow CMF, if you identify the problem, if you are not just destructive but constructive, criticizing what you find, and in a second way, if you give a good answer, how to improve it, how to do it better, how to save the money, how to save the time, how to make the whatever service desk answering more friendly, no one really could be against this. So the answer is easy. If you are prepared well, you know the leak, you know the problem, you have an answer how to fix it, and you can show the outcome, those three things, then no manager should regret it. And if you regret it, then you have to overcome. You have to overcome. Yes, you have to leave the hierarchy and you have to get to the next chief and you have to tell him he is going something wrong.
Останнє питання.
But one moment.
Yep.
I didn't want it to bash on Ukraine, not for sure. And I can give you a very good example, which I met recently, and I was really impressed. And I will recommend commercials on tap taxi or red taxi wherever I can. What was happening, I was going from my outside Kiev home, Bucha, to what was it, Akadem Garadok, and I went back, and the taxi driver wasn't switching the right tachometer parameter. It was 2 months ago. Last week, Tap Taxi called me, yes, you were driving there 7th of January from there to there. Maybe. Yeah, the taxi driver made a mistake. He actually was charging you for outside town, but it is inside, so cheaper. You have now a balance of 65 grivnas plus. Can we transfer them to your telephone? I said, yes, why not, of course. I will never change this taxi driver, this taxi company no more. Another example, Ukrainian bad one, is Международная Украина, вот эта авиалиния. They have a panorama program, it's called, customer satisfaction, customer binding program. And 1 year ago, they changed the number. It was before a 6-digit, now it's a 10-digit. I didn't receive the mail, okay, fix nim.